Hello everybody and welcome. It's your boy Shimigami X, aka Captain X, leader of Squad X, and I'm here today to give you none other than your weekly prescribed Bleach chapter review. Today what I'm going to be reviewing for you is Bleach chapter 577, entitled Sword. Just simply Sword. Alright guys, now without the lengthy long introduction, let's just get right into the nitty gritty of the chapter. This week's Bleach chapter was short. It was very short. And there's no denying that, there's no two ways about that. So in turn, this review is going to be somewhat short compared to like my normal standards. So now let's get into this. Alright, the main highlight of this chapter is none other than the reveal of Kenpachi Zaraki Shikai. But what I thought was a bit contradictory was the fact that, okay, in the beginning of the series it was stated that Kenpachi's sword was already in a Shikai state, that it's already released, that he's never had any way of sealing it because he's never had great control of his spiritual pressure, which made perfect sense because it was the same case with Ichigo Kurosaki. That made perfect sense. But then in this chapter, to be able to destroy the meteorite that Gremmy used to basically do a kamikaze on everybody except himself, he calls out the name of Shikai, which is all well and good. There's the release command as well, which I thought was already weird because, you know, he already has, the Shikai's already released. And then he basically blasts the meteor, slices the meteor and blasts it into hundreds of thousands of pieces. So, with that being said now, we also get the next chapter, the next page, I mean, basically saying that, you know, showing Kenpachi with his new sword, which quite evidently looks sick. It looks badass. It looks badass. I like the design, of it. It kept the whole kind of, you know, cloth wrap, the kind of jagged edges to it, but it looks like a giant cleaver. Like, that's what it looks like. It looks like a giant butcher knife on his shoulders, which is all well and good, with like some tassels at the top. So then I first look at it and I think to myself, that looks sick. Second time I look at it now, I'm like, wait, did the sword just release twice? So yeah, that's just one of my little grabs that I had with the chapter, but nonetheless, it didn't take away from the chapter, so I'm not going to give it a negative because basically it contradicts something in the beginning of the series. And besides that, before I even done the chapter review, I was talking to one of my subscribers on Facebook, that's on YouTube channel as well. Actually, you know what, I'm going to leave a link to his channel in the description below to check him out as well. You know, I can help out a brother. Anyways, that's not the point. I was talking to him about this before I even done the chapter. He was like, since when could a Shikai release twice? So like, since when could somebody have a Shikai that's released and then release again? So it's like saying, oh yeah, Senbon Zakura. Okay, I'm going to release again. Here's Senbon Zakura 2. No. The only time I've ever known a Shikai to be able to release twice is when it releases into its Bankai state. But he pointed me to a case with Yumichika, where Yumichika, one of the members of Squad 11, that if he calls out his sword's name, it only releases part way. But if he calls out his full name, you know, with like command and everything, it releases fully. And that's the only other example that we've seen of that. So could you say that this is a mess up from Kubo? Maybe. Or is it something that he's planned from the beginning? Who knows? But nonetheless, it doesn't take away from the chapter, and in fact, I still enjoyed it overall. So now, onto the character Gremmy. I'm going to be very honest with you, I'm getting very bored with Gremmy, and that sounds ironic considering this guy has the power of imagination. He should be able to conjure up anything. So, and that's the problem when you have a character like this. When you have somebody who can conjure up anything, you should be doing things that are just completely insane, crazy, out of this world, and nobody should be able to beat him. Obviously, that can't be the case because that would just be bad story writing, but basically, me seeing his lack of imagination, because even last chapter he said like, okay, yeah, this is the extent of my power, able to create life, blah blah blah. Fair enough, his power has to have limits, but his lack of imagination, his lack of creativity is making me bored of the character already. So to be honest with you, I actually just want to see his final holy form and him being slain by Kenpachi and whatever else his Shikai can actually do. That's personally what I want to see. Also, what I thought was really good about this chapter was also the fact that we had a flashback. I thought the flashback in this chapter was well placed. Most people hate flashbacks because they say that, oh yeah, it's just eating up panel time, but sometimes flashback is well placed. The pacing was well, and it wasn't too long and dragged out. It was just a short flashback of Kenpachi and Yachiru. Basically, Kenpachi sitting amongst a pile of dead bodies that he's gone obviously slaughtered. Yachiru going up to him and he's saying like, why aren't you scared? Like, get out of here, brat. And basically saying like, you know, finds out that she doesn't have a name. He's like, well, neither does he. And I thought that's pretty funny since up until this point, Kenpachi Zaraki has never had a name. The name Kenpachi is the name of a district, is the name of one of the Rukong districts. Kenpachi is a name given to the strongest of Shinigami. So basically it was a title that he took that he didn't essentially have the right to yet. But obviously with him defeating Unohana, he's obviously earned the right to that name. So Kenpachi now actually has a name. Also the fact that now he knows the name of his Shikai, Nozarashi, which I thought is basically quite significant. It's kind of symbolic in a sense. And also the fact that he gave the little girl, his lieutenant, Yachiru, a name. So now that the three that once never had a name now has a name. So I thought that that's what that basically shows. Just basically shows some kind of closure. Is it showing closure in Kenpachi Zaraki's character? Maybe, maybe not. You could say yes because it's the final arc of the series, but you know, I highly doubt it. We still got this battle to go on, and where is Kenpachi going to go on next from here? Because it's obvious that he's going to defeat Grammy, and if he does go to take on Juha, I honestly don't think he's going to defeat him. I would like him to be able to defeat him, but obviously that's Ichigo's job. Anyways, last few things about this chapter were basically what Askin was saying, that, you know, somebody like Grammy, why did Juha let him out? He should be locked up. And we even see the return of Hashwells in this chapter, which is somebody that's been missing for a long time. But even Hashwell says to basically, you know, just some regular grunt Quincy's that, you know, go and protect his majesty. And I question, like, what could they have really done in this situation? If Hashwell's is standing there, yeah, like a badass, just looking like, okay, this thing's coming down, go and protect his majesty. All the other Starnuts are like, oh crap, we're dead, we're finished. Even the Shinigami are like, oh, we're dead, we're finished. Like, what would some regular grunts have done to protect Juha that Juha couldn't have done for himself? Really? So it makes me realize that, you know, what Grammy said was true. This meteorite was meant to kill everybody. That means Juha himself, everybody except him. Which I find is somewhat strange that Juha would even let somebody like that onto the battlefield. I know that Juha needs people to, you know, basically fuel his powers. He needs people to die for him to be able to get their souls back, the souls that he dished out back to him, to basically keep him from going like inept. So I understand that, but is that worth him basically getting himself destroyed for? See, and this goes back onto the theory that I had in like several of the captain's tables with Charles' Anime World and the Elite Ace. Like, basically, that when Yamamoto fought Juha 1,000 years ago, was it a case that he didn't kill him? Like, you know, because Yamamoto, as we know him, doesn't seem like the kind of person that wouldn't finish off somebody that's a serious threat to the Soul Society. But we know that Mayuri said that, oh, this is somebody that the reason that you're having this problem now is because you failed to kill that man 1,000 years ago. So is it a case that Yamamoto didn't kill him, like didn't deliver the finishing blow? Or is it a case that he physically could not kill him because of what Juha's powers are? Because you do get the Quincy folklore that says, you know, 900 years regain his body. You guys all know how it goes. We're all followers of Bleach here. So my thoughts about that is this. It's not that Yamamoto failed to kill him, like he spared him. It's that Yamamoto went all out and went to finish him. In fact, he did kill him. But maybe it's a case that you have to kill Juha in a certain way. Kind of like, the best way to describe it is, look at it like in the case of Voldemort from Harry Potter. How you have like in different Horcruxes, you have to destroy the different Horcruxes before you can actually kill him. It's basically something similar the case with Juha. You have to destroy, I don't know. I really don't know. Quite bluntly, I don't know. I'll just be speculating at this point. But nonetheless, back to the chapter because I'm digressing here. Overall, the chapter was very, very short. There's no taking away from that. But nonetheless, it was still a very good chapter. So overall, I have to give the chapter, I'll give the chapter probably a good 7.5, 8 out of 10. I'll give it a 7.5. Yeah, 7.5, because the chapter was short. Could have done with some more content. We got the reveal of Kenpachi's Shikai, and you know, we see presumably what it can do. That basically it just amplifies the powers that Kenpachi's already got. You know, just basically brute force melee type. Also, extending on that before I go quickly, my theory about Kenpachi's Shikai is this. We see that when he slashed the meteor, right, that it blew into several pieces. So it's basically a Shikai ability that basically whatever it contacts with explodes upon impact. I don't know, maybe not. Or it could just be simply, you know, just the impact of the slash cause it to shatter and crack and fall down and rain meteorites in 1,000 pieces. Maybe that's just the case. Anyways, guys, I believe I've rambled on enough. I hope you guys have enjoyed my review. It's your boy Shin Gami X, aka Captain X. I'm signing out, and as always, my people, take care. Peace.